Okay, good for. Today we're going to do Perek Chav Beis. It covers yesterday's and today's shir. I'm going to just summarize it, instead of reading word for word what the Alter Rebbe is saying in Perek Chav Beis. And what he said in Perek Chav Aleph, the Alter Rebbe, how the world is created in the words of Hashem, and as he explained us how the words are completely nullified to the person, so the male, and he went through the details of this, how they nullify the words to the person. Same thing, the words of Hashem nullified to him. So the worlds that made the whole world, and many worlds Hashem created, that all made from his words, and they bottled to him. They're like the words of the person bottled to him, the words of Hashem, which is the world. It's completely nullified to him. The reason we don't see the nullification, we do see a separated world, because there is a tzimtzum, a concealment. So it makes the world to appear to us the way we see it, not the way it's a world that bottled to Hashem. And that's why also that's we're starting now the perek of today, and that's why it's called B'dvar Havaya Shemayim Na'asu, with the words of Hashem. Hashem created the world, even though it's not as our words. It's the bittul of the world. The way it bottled to Hashem, it's a lot more how the words of the person is bottled to him. It's way more than that. And again, in Perek Kaf Aleph, he went through the length of it, but he's saying the reason we also call it a dibur, like a sort of mamoros, says it's also it's called Beloshen B'nei Adam. Hashem talking to us, the Torah talking to us, and the word, and the language that we can relate to. He says, the words of Hashem, the way it's coming to us, it's coming through great contraction. The Hashem had to come to us with a lot of tzimtzumim, contraction and concealment. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to be created the way we are today, the world we have today. Because if everything would be completely bottled to him, nullified to him, would be no world. So, and he says, and the contraction are such and so many in quantity and quality, till to the point not only the world was able to be created, but also in this world created also many things that are dvorim atmeim, impure things, v'klipos, v'sitra achra, the other side. And they don't have their own source of life. There's only one source of life, at HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they receive their life from Hashem. But it's coming through such a hester upon him, through such a concealment, through such a contraction, till they don't see over there a lakus, and they're able to receive from it. And that's why it's called, he says, the other side, Elohim Acherim, other gods. Why? Because they being nurtured from the world, from the level, it's called Achorayim. Whenever it's mentioned in Kabbalah or Hasidus, the level of Achorayim, it doesn't mean only from the back, it means from the lowest level, because the highest level called B'chinas Ponim, that's the Pnimius, that's the main level, the lowest level called B'chinas Achorayim, and the way the Sitra Achra, the way the other side receive its chayus, basically this whole world, which is most of it, of this world, as Olam Asiyah, that's most of it is darkness, the Sitra Achra, and the way it's received as B'chinas Achorayim, from the lowest level of Kedusha. And he explained what it means, why they call it B'chinas Achorayim, For example, when you give to somebody a present, if it's your friend, and you, if it's your friend, and you want to give it to him, you give it to him with bechinas panim b'fanim. You give it with a smiley face. You give it to him with a pleasure. You want to give it to him. But when you have to give to somebody something that you owe money, and I always bring this example, especially when you pay your taxes to the government, nobody says, I'm paying it with a great compassion, the great love. Nobody does that. People usually pay their taxes because they have to pay, because if you don't pay, you can go to jail. So that's the same level how Hashem feeds, nurtures the Sitra Achra. Hashem created that. Hashem says, I made a contract with the world. I'm going to support you. I'm going to give you life. Tzaddikim, he gives them b'vchinas ponim b'fonim. He gives them with a great compassion, with a great love, with a smile. And the Rishoyim, the Sitra Achra, receive their chayus of b'chinas acharayim. Again, it's like somebody throwing a bill that he have to pay from his back. He feels like, I have to give it to you, but I'm not giving it to you with a smile. I am giving it because I have to give it. The same thing how Hashem, he gives the chayus, the sitra achra in such a way. So it comes out that this world not only created with the words of Hashem, and they're very concealed over here to the point that we don't see godliness, we see world, but it's so concealed, even the lowest level, like sitra achra, klippas, the impurity, non-kosher animals that come from that level of the sitra achra, they also could receive from there. Now, the reason now he goes through this whole thing, so he says like this, that the way the chayes of Hashem, the energy, the life of Hashem goes to this world and goes so deep down, even giving life to the Sitra Achra, but this chayes of Hashem goes into Golus. It's like, imagine the king is in the jail. Hashem giving chayus, it's his chayus, he's giving them life, he is supporting the whole entire world, including the other side, the Sitra Achra, the Klippas. So it comes out that it's called Soid Golus HaShechina. The Shechina goes to Golus. Hashem giving them life, and they fight against Hashem. They fight godliness. And that's why it's called that level. Anything that goes against godliness, it says Nikra B'Shem Elohim Acherim, other gods, because again they receive from the Bechinas Achoraim, they receive from the lowest level. She Avodah Mamash V'Kfira B'Achdusoi Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That level, it's Mamash Avodah Zorah, when they go against Hashem and they denounce him. The sin, the light of Hashem that gives them life, energy. That's complete golus. That's an exile by them. They don't feel the lakus, the godliness, and we brought for it a moshel. If you remember in the previous shiurim, that's from the Mittel Rebbe, that when the Paroi had a dream that the bad cows ate the good cows. So the good cows, the 7 good cows, represents the 7 midas of kedusha. The 7 bad cows represent the 7 midas of klippas. When the klippa eats up the cows, which is the midas of kedusha, the chayes of Hashem, the energy of God, and it says v'lo noida ki bo el kirbena. You don't even recognize after they ate the good cows that they got fatter. It's like they as bad as in the beginning, meaning when the klippas are taking their life, they're being nurtured by kedusha, by God, but they take the chayus and it's so covered up by them till you don't see godliness over there. They marem rak asher batchila, they look bad as before they got the chayus alaki, because they don't appreciate it. That they don't say it's kedusha. It's so covered up the life of Hashem in them till they could go against Hashem. And that's the Avodah Zorah. So anytime you go against Hashem, that's the kfira, because you don't realize I am completely bottled in. Without him, I wouldn't be here. But the Klippa don't feel that way. The Klippa feel, yeah, I got energy from you, I got money from you, you're supporting me, but I'm gonna fight you with this. So this is the he said it's not only not bottle the Klippas, Takadosh Baruch Hu, and something everybody, that people receive Chayes Eloki. All of us live of God, whether we get our money, our life, our breathing, whatever we get, it's from Him. But not only we don't appreciate and we don't recognize it, we don't realize it's coming from Him, many of us don't, but other rabbi, the contrary, Magviya Atzma Kanesher, the Sitra Achra. And again, Sitra Achra doesn't mean something far away. Sometimes you could see in our own life, some people in our own life, whether ourselves, but the people that we know, it says they pick themselves up like an eagle. Loimar, eagle flies up very high. They fly up very high in their feeling. And they see, that's all me. I'm the great, and I accomplish everything, and it's me. And they don't see over here that without God, you wouldn't be here. They don't have bittul nullification to Hashem. Or Kamaimer, like it says by Paroi, Ye'orli v'ani osisni. That's a pasuk in Yechezkel talks about Paroi. Paroi said, the river is mine, and I made. Well, it means not that God gives me a lot of energy through the river, because in Mitzrayim, what gives the water to all the little rivers and to everybody else, what helps them to have water is the river that Hashem gave them. There's not much rain over there. But the Parah says, Ye'orli. It's not from God, it's mine, v'ani, and everything I accomplish, it's myself. So many people live like this. They feel it's all mine. The money is mine, the power is mine, the health is mine, everything is mine. God didn't give it to me. That's how the Sitra Achra feels. That's not side of Kedusha. In Kedusha, a person completely bottled to Hashem, he realized everything he has, it's from Hashem. That's why Chachamim telling us, it's a gashus haruach, meaning hodiness, not feeling. When you have hodiness, when you feel it's yours, I did it. It's a capital I. When gashus haruach, when somebody feels arrogant, when somebody feels hodi, shekula, Chachamim telling us, it's like Avodah Zorah. Mamash. Why? Why hodiness and arrogance like idol worshipping? Ki ikar b'shoresh Avodah Zorah, the main part of Avodah Zorah, mashanechshav l'dover b'fnei atzmoi. Avodah Zorah is, the Avodah Zorah thinks, I'm on my own. Avodah Zorah does not feel I am getting my life, my energy from God, and that's why I'm nullified to God. Avodah Zorah is a feeling like Paroi. Dover b'fnei atzmoi, on my own. Nifrad megdusha shel mokem. And the truth is, you see today in the atheist world, they feel that sometimes they see the greatness of the world, how the world operates, how the world works, and they could learn about all the galaxies and all the planets and everything, and they still call it runs on its own. To say that again, to denounce that the energy of Hashem, the life of Hashem, how it's the one running the whole world, including ourselves, myself, yeah. So that becomes that feeling itself. It's a very arrogant feeling that I'm the machine running on its own. Nifrad migdusoshe shel mokem. It's separate from the holiness of Hashem, because what's holy when it's bottled to Hashem, when it's filled nullification to Hashem. And such a feeling that you come separated from the holiness of Hashem, you're feeling separated, and that's v'lo kfira b'Hashem legamre. And even some of them don't denounce God completely. There's a different level of how people denounce Hashem, how people go against it. Some people don't believe in God. It would be the atheist, but there's some people say we believe God created the world, but after that it's running on its own. And whatever we do, they don't believe Hashem's still involved in micromanaging the world. And they believe if somebody has something. It's on its own. It's its own accomplishment. So even though they believe in God, it's not complete kfira b'Hashem legamre. Kedisa b'Gemara, like the Gemara says, the korule elod Elohayo. A lot of the Avodah Zarah, they believe in God, but they believe God made smaller gods to manage us. So they call God Eloho de Elokayo, Elo de Elokayo. He's God of gods, meaning they believe in a higher power, but they believe they also something. They are also an authority. They believe God granted me certain koiches, and I have now my own. So in a way, they have certain separation from Him. They don't believe. It's like when a person he knows he is connected to the life support machine. He knows without that life support machine, if God forbid for a minute, be disconnected, he'll die. But for some people who don't feel that their machine is God and they're connected to that life support machine. They feel right now, after I'm created, I have my own koiches, I have my own authority, my own power, my own accomplishment. With that they separate themselves from the holiness of Hashem Baruch Hu, because they're not nullified to Him. It's a very important statement he makes now. The high holiness does not rest upon us, doesn't dwell upon us. Only when you know something holy, the holiness of Hashem comes to us if you nullify to Him. The more you nullify to Hashem, the more you become a vessel for Elakus, for godliness that should dwell on you, rest upon you. But if you don't have the nullification, there's nothing holy over there anymore, because the only thing holy in the world is Hashem. And we could become a vessel for the holiness through nullification, through by feeling we nullified Him. Without Him, we wouldn't be here. That's why the Avodah Zarah and the Sitra Achra called Turei de Proido, B'Zohar HaKodesh. The Zohar HaKodesh called them mountains of separation, separated mountains. Meaning you feel like a mountain, you feel big like a mountain. The mountain is higher than the regular road, because you feel also in your feelings, I'm high like a mountain, and separated mountain. I'm not, if I feel like a mountain, it's separation, because if I feel high, the reason I have a feeling of I'm higher, I'm greater, because I feel separate from Hashem. Because if I would feel wherever I have, it's Hashem, I would never feel like a mountain. I wouldn't be separated. The feeling of a mountain make you proida, make you separate from God, because the God does not dwell, doesn't rest upon something that's not nullified to Him. And this is denouncing that His oneness, the kulei kamei kol choshev, because the true feeling of godliness, when you understand that the whole entire world is nothing in front of Him, that's all Him. Without Him, nothing would be here. Truly, everything is nullified to Him. And to His will, the Hashem gives chayes to everybody. He that gives them life to be recreated every moment from nothing to something. So what Alter Rebbe building this whole thing too, if you have such a feeling, first he building up our feeling that we are part of Him. Without Him, we would not be here. And that's the true reality. Again, if people don't feel it, it's only because He's hiding. Mimele, that concealment, that the hiding makes us feel that we're on our own. But the truth is we're not on our own. When a person have such a awareness that he is part of Hashem, without Hashem he wouldn't be here, Mimele, any time he would go do something against Him, he would feel like his mamash engaging in Avodah Zarah, because that's the whole idea of Avodah Zarah. They don't believe in God; they believe they are on their own. If you have the guts to go and do something against the king, meaning you feel I am not nullified to Him, I don't have to listen to Him. So that's what I said. The Alter Rebbe in those few prokim, he's building this up in the person that the sending you don't want to do Avodah Zarah, and that you already established in the beginning that even as the most simplest Jew, he doesn't want to do Avodah Zarah. That he knows that's already crossing the red line. I'm not. He says a Jew, even the lowest Jew, don't want to do idol worshipping. But he's explaining that any Aveira, it will be like idol worshipping, and that concept that I'm going against Hashem. And the reason, and the way to secure that you're not going to go against Hashem, the more you feel bottled, nullified to Him, the more you feel if He's my life, without Him I wouldn't be here, then it gives you the feeling I have to be nullified and be obeying to Him. Okay, boys, have a good walk. Mitzvah Hashem. We'll see you tomorrow night at 8:30.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good week.
A good walk.